From their dark and disturbing themes to their lighthearted and comedic moments, Yorgos Lanthimos' films are one of a kind. Exploring human nature and relationships, Lanthimos has drawn in movie enthusiasts, beginning with his first feature film, My Best Friend. Lanthimos is most known for his two films, The Favourite and Poor Things, which are critically acclaimed and have been praised for their depth and individuality, both being collaborations with Academy Award-winning actress Emma Stone. Lanthimos uses many different techniques in these two films that make them unique. As young filmmakers, we can learn a lot from him. Yorgos Lanthimos gives the audience an immersive experience into the world of his films by using angles to show power dynamics and relationships, while also using unique lenses, costuming, and camera techniques to reveal hidden emotions and themes. This is Yorgos Lanthimos, Director Film School. Throughout these two films, Lanthimos continuously uses different lenses to capture different emotions of the scenes. He uses these lenses in points of conflict or revelation, and is able to distort the audience's full view in a scene. In this scene, Bella is trapped in an awkward conversation with Duncan, and the lens reflects that feeling of being stuck. The audience is able to feel the exact emotion that Bella is feeling, as they aren't able to focus on anything but the middle of the frame. Just how the audience's view is limited, Bella's perception and knowledge of the world is limited.
And we remembered this fisheye lens that we used that actually created this circle. You know, people feel like very enclosed in a kind of claustrophobic way in the frame. And
while Lanthimos uses the fisheye lens to make the audience feel enclosed in a scene, he also uses it to make the frame seem bigger than it actually is. In this scene, characters Queen Anne and Abigail are seen walking down a hallway in the palace. The fisheye lens is used to exaggerate the luxury of the palace, while also making it seem unsettling due to the distortedness. We again are seeing this scene from the perspective of one of the characters, Abigail. The frame being distorted to seem larger reflects her exaggerated views of the palace and the future that she's going to have in it, as she did not come from a place of wealth before working for the queen. This also foreshadows Abigail's corruption in the film, due to her desire to gain power. Unique camera movement is prevalent in these films, and is often used to put the audience in the direct perspective of the characters, while immersing the audience into the emotional state of the characters. In The Favourite, Lanthimos often uses the technique of moving the camera when the characters move. In this scene, Abigail is being attacked by Ciara throwing books at her. The camera pans back and forth as Abigail tries to dodge the books. The camera is also placed behind Abigail, hiding her reaction from the audience. The fast-paced movements make the audience feel the stress and confusion Abigail is feeling during the scene, without seeing her exact emotions. In Poor Things, Lanthimos uses his unique camera movements in a different way. In this scene, Bella has been forced to continue living with her husband Alfie, and an argument has broken out between them. The camera moves in a circular motion around both of the characters, giving the scene a hypnotic or distorting feel. This can then be contrasted with their conversation, as Alfie is trying to manipulate Bella into staying with him. Bella, again, feels trapped in her situation and stuck in the circular motion the camera is making around her. Lanthimos is known for using close-ups and low angles together an abundant amount of times throughout all his films. It allows the audience to see every emotion on the character's face, while hiding from the audience what the characters are reacting to. This scene is emotionally complex, as Bella is mourning her father, while also being angry at him for his actions. The camera is positioned in a low angle, while also having a close-up on Bella's face. We are able to see the subtle facial expressions she shifts from, allowing the audience to feel the vulnerability of the scene. The low angle also gives us the perspective of Bella's father looking up at her. Lanthimos uses the technique of low angles and close-ups differently in The Favourite. Here, Abigail is seen with the camera positioned in a low angle. This low angle symbolizes the power Abigail has in the conversation she is having with Ciara. However, once Abigail mentions that she knows Ciara's secret,
even your biggest secret, Abigail,
the camera quickly tilts down to a high angle. This serves as a reminder to both the audience and Abigail who has the power in the situation, as in Ciara's perspective, Abigail was becoming too comfortable during their conversation. The camera tilting so quickly almost feels like a threat, as Ciara's emotions can also change in an instant from friendly to intimidating. This results in the audience feeling surprised and scared, which is the exact emotion Abigail is experiencing. Costuming is an important aspect that Lanthimos uses to show the development of characters. It can show their knowledge or emotion and power or weakness. In the beginning of Poor Things, Bella is very naive and almost childlike. She progresses throughout the movie, eventually gaining maturity and knowledge. The development of her costuming throughout the movie reveals her progression. At first, we see Bella with very big and colorful outfits, which remind the audience of something a child would wear. In the last scene that we see Bella, she is shown wearing very neutral clothing. Her clothing is also not as extravagant and is more simple and mature. While her development is revealed throughout the storyline, her clothing adds an extra detail that convinces the audience that Bella has really become intelligent. However, in The Favorite, Lanthimos uses costuming to subtly reveal the power Abigail is gaining throughout the film. Abigail starts out as a maid in the palace, and that is reflected through her clothing, as she is shown wearing a tattered and dirty dress. As she moves higher up, eventually becoming the queen's assistant, she looks cleaner and her clothing becomes more complex. Her clothing also only consists of the colors black and white. As we can see in this clip, her dress has many small details that make Abigail appear rich. The transition from blue to black could symbolize Abigail's corruption, as she is now willing to manipulate people to get what she wants. At the very end of the film, we see Abigail now with an elaborate white dress. This signifies her success in gaining power and becoming close to the queen. However, it also contrasts with the emptiness she now feels, as her victory does not make her feel fulfilled as she suspected. From the techniques we discussed today, there's so much we can take away from Lanthimos' style of filmmaking. An important aspect of his films is experimenting and using unconventional techniques. For example, using a fisheye or Petzval lens to create unique visual distortions that reflect the narrative of characters. Focusing on atmosphere and tone, rather than using traditional narrative techniques. Lanthimos heavily relies on his trust in the audience to let the atmosphere be a leading part in his stories. Lastly, using camera techniques that place the audience into the mindset and emotion of the characters. From rotational shots to slow zoom-outs, Lanthimos aligns his cinematography with the character's development. This ensures that the audience is engaged with the story. By taking these techniques into account, we can learn to push our creative boundaries and create our own unique style that impacts audiences profoundly.